Ghazal is a form of amatory poem or ode which originates in Arabic poetry that often deals with topics of spiritual and romantic love. It may be understood as a poetic expression of both the pain of loss or separation from the beloved and the beauty of love in spite of that pain. The ghazal form is ancient, tracing its origins to 7th century Arabic poetry. It spread into the Indian subcontinent in the 12th century due to the influence of Sufi mystics and the courts of the new Islamic Sultanate, and is now most prominently a form of poetry of many languages of South Asia and Turkey. A poem of ghazal commonly consists of 5 to 15 couplets which are independent but are linked, abstractly, in their theme and more strictly in their poetic form. The structural requirements of ghazal are similar in stringency to those of the Petrarchan sonnet. In style and content, due to its highly allusive nature, ghazal has proved capable of an extraordinary variety of expression around its central themes of love and separation. Etymology and pronunciation. The word ghazal originates from the Arabic word ghazal. This genre of Arabic poetry is derived from ghazal or ghazala, to sweet talk, to flirt, to display amorous gestures. The Arabic word ghazal is pronounced ghazal. In English, the word is pronounced ghazal or ghazal. Poetic form. A ghazal is a short poem consisting of rhyming couplets called bait or sher. Most ghazals have between 7 and 12 baits. For a poem to be considered a true ghazal, it must have no fewer than 5 couplets. Almost all ghazals confine themselves to less than 15 couplets. Poems that exceed this length are more accurately considered as qasidas. Ghazal couplets end with the same rhyming pattern and are expected to have the same meter. The ghazal's uniqueness arises from its rhyme and refrain rules, referred to as the kafiya and the radif, respectively. A ghazal's rhyming pattern may be described as AA, BA, CA, DA, and so on. In its strictest form, a ghazal must follow a number of rules. Matla. The first sher in a ghazal is called the matla. Both lines of the matla must contain the kafiya and the radif. The matla sets the tone of the ghazal as well as its rhyming and refrain pattern. Radif. The refrain word or phrase. Both lines of the matla and the second lines of all subsequent shers must end in the same refrain word called the radif. Kafiya. The rhyming pattern. The radif is immediately preceded by words or phrases with the same end rhyme pattern called the kafiya. Maqta. The last couplet of the ghazal is called the maqta. It is common in ghazals for the poet's nom de plume, known as the khallus, to be featured in the maqta. The maqta is typically more personal than the other couplets in a ghazal. The creativity with which a poet incorporates homonymous meanings of their takhallus to offer additional layers of meaning to the couplet is an indicator of their skill. Behr. Each line of a ghazal must follow the same metrical pattern and syllabic or more count. Other optional rules include Misrai Ula. The first line of each verse must be a statement. Misrai Sani. The second line of each verse must be the proof of statement given in the first line. Unlike in a nazm, a ghazal's couplets do not need a common theme or continuity. Each sher is self-contained and independent from the others, containing the complete expression of an idea. However, the shers all contain a thematic or tonal connection to each other, which may be highly elusive. A common conceit that traces its history to the origins of the ghazal form is that the poem is addressed to a beloved by the narrator. Abdul Hamid Zai considers the content of Old Persian ghazal to include 4 elements: love, mysticism, education or excellence, and kalandari. Interpreting a ghazal. The ghazal tradition is marked by the poetry's ambiguity and simultaneity of meaning. Learning the common tropes is key to understanding the ghazal. There are several locations a Urdu sher might take place in. The garden, where the poet often takes on the personage of the bulbul, a songbird. The poet is singing to the beloved, who is often embodied as a rose. हूँ गर्मी निशाते तसव्वुर से नगमा संज, मैं अंदले बे गुलशनी ना आफरीदा हूँ. Ghalib. I sing from the warmth of the passionate joy of thought. I am the bulbul of a garden not yet created. The tavern, or the mekhana, where the poet drinks wine in search of enlightenment, union with God, and desolation of self. मीर उन नीमबाज आँखों में सारी मस्ती शराब की सी है. Mir taki mir. Mir is in those half-closed eyes. All flirtation is a bit like wine. History. Origins in Arabia. The ghazal originated in Arabia in the 7th century, evolving from the qasida, a much older pre-Islamic Arabic poetic form. Qasidas were typically much longer poems with up to 100 couplets. Thematically, qasidas did not include love and were usually panegyrics for a tribe or ruler, lampoons or moral maxims. However, the qasida's opening prelude, called the Nasib, was typically nostalgic or romantic in theme and highly ornamented and stylized in form. In time, the Nasib began to be written as standalone shorter poems, which became the ghazal. The ghazal came into its own as a poetic genre during the Umayyad era, 661 to 750 AD, and continued to flower and develop in the early Abbasid era. The Arabic ghazal inherited the formal verse structure of the qasida, specifically a strict adherence to meter and the use of the kafiya, a common end rhyme on each couplet, called a bait in Arabic and a sher in Persian. The nature of the ghazals also changed to meet the demands of musical presentation, becoming shorter in length. Lighter poetic meters such as khafif, ramal, and muqtarab were preferred instead of longer, more ponderous meters favored for qasidas such as kamil, basit, and rajaz. Topically, the ghazal focus also changed from nostalgic reminiscences of the homeland and loved ones towards romantic or erotic themes. These included subgenres with themes of courtly love, udhari, eroticism, hissi, homoeroticism, muzakkar, and as a highly stylized introduction to a larger poem, tamhidi. During the Umayyad and early Abbasid era, the ghazal blossomed. It inherited the structure of the qasida, focusing on meter and end rhymes. With time, it adapted for musical presentation, becoming shorter. Lighter meters were preferred and themes shifted towards romance and eroticism. Spread of the Arabic ghazal. With the spread of Islam, the Arabic ghazal spread both westwards into Africa and Spain as well as eastwards into Persia. The popularity of ghazals in a particular region was usually preceded by a spread of the Arabic language in that country. In medieval Spain, ghazals written in Hebrew as well as Arabic have been found as far back as the 11th century. It is possible that ghazals were also written in the Mozarabic language. Ghazals in the Arabic form have also been written in a number of major West African literary languages like Hausa and Fulfulde. Dispersion into Persia. Early Arabo-Persian ghazals, 10th to 11th century. However, the most significant changes to the ghazal occurred in its introduction into Iran in the 10th century. The early Persian ghazals largely imitated the themes and form of the Arabian ghazal. These Arabo-Persian ghazals introduced two differences compared to their Arabian poetic roots. Firstly, the Persian ghazals did not employ radical enjambment between the two halves of the couplet. And secondly, the Persian ghazals formalized the use of the common rhyme in both lines of the opening couplet, matla. The imitation of Arabian forms in Persia extended to the qasida, which was also popular in Persia. Because of its comparative brevity, thematic variety, and suggestive richness, the ghazal soon eclipsed the qasida and became the most popular poetry form in Persia. Much like Arabian ghazals, early Persian ghazals typically employed more musical meters compared to other Persian poetry forms. Rudaki, 858 to 941 CE, is considered the most important Persian ghazal poet of this period and the founder of classical Persian literature. Early Persian ghazal poetry, 12th to early 13th century. The Persian ghazal evolved into its own distinctive form between the 12th and 13th centuries. Many of those innovations created what we now recognize as the archetypical ghazal form. These changes occurred in two periods separated by the Mongol invasion of Persia from 1219 to 1221 AD. The early Persian poetry period spanned approximately 1 century from the Ghaznavid era, which lasted until 1187, till a little after the Mongol invasion. Apart from the movement towards brevity, this period also saw two significant and lasting changes to the ghazal form. The first change was the adoption of the takhallus, the practice of mentioning the poet's pen name in the final couplet, called the maqta. The adoption of the takhallus became a gradually accepted part of the ghazal form, and by the time of Sadi Shirazi 1210 to 1291 AD, the most important ghazal poet of this period, it had become de rigueur. The second marked change from Arabian ghazal form in Persian ghazals was a movement towards far greater autonomy between the couplets. Late Persian poetry in the early Mongol period, 1221 AD, the ghazal later spread throughout the Middle East and South Asia. It was famous all around the Indian subcontinent in the 18th and 19th centuries. Unreliable source. Introduction into Indian subcontinent. The ghazal was spread from Persia into Indian subcontinent in the 12th century by the influence of Sufi mystics and the courts of the new Islamic sultanates. This period coincided with the early Islamic sultanates in India through the wave of Islamic invasions into the region in that period. The 13th century Chishti Sufi poet Hasan Sijzi is regarded as the originator of the Indo-Persian ghazal. Sijzi's contemporary, the poet and musician Amir Khusro, is not only credited as the first Urdu poet but also created Hindustani as we know today by merging Braj, Khadi Boli, Hindi, Urdu, Persian and other local dialects. During the reign of the Sultan of Bengal, Ghiyasuddin Azam Shah, the city of Sonargaon became an important center of Persian literature with many publications of prose and poetry. The period is described as the golden age of Persian literature in Bengal. Its stature is illustrated by the Sultan's own correspondence with the Persian poet Hafiz. When the Sultan invited Hafiz to complete an incomplete ghazal by the ruler, the renowned poet responded by acknowledging the grandeur of the court and the literary quality of Bengali Persian poetry. It is said that Atul Prasad Sen pioneered the introduction of Bengali ghazals. Residing in Lucknow, he was inspired by Persian ghazals and experimented with a stream of Bengali music which was later enriched profusely by the contribution of Qazi Nazrul Islam and Muniruddin Yusuf. Unconditional superior love. A common theme is unconditional love for a higher being or for a mortal beloved, which may lift the poet into the ranks of the wise or will bring satisfaction to the soul of the poet. Traditional ghazal law may or may not have an explicit element of sexual desire in it, and the love may be spiritual. The love may be directed to either a man or a woman. The ghazal is always written from the point of view of the unrequited lover whose beloved is portrayed as unattainable. Most often, either the beloved has not returned the poet's love or returns it without sincerity, or else the societal circumstances do not allow it. The lover is aware and resigned to this fate, but continues loving nonetheless. The lyrical impetus of the poem derives from this tension. Representations of the lover's powerlessness to resist his feelings often include lyrically exaggerated violence. The beloved's power to captivate the speaker may be represented in extended metaphors about the arrows of his eyes or by referring to the beloved as an assassin or a killer. Take for example the following couplets from Amir Khusro's Persian ghazal Nami Danam Che Manzil Bood Shab. Nami Danam Che Manzil Bood Shab Jai Ke Manbudam Behar Su Raks Eh Bismil Shab Jai Ke Manbudam Pari Pekar Nigari Sarv Kade Lal Ruksar Sarapa Afate Dil Shab Jai Ke Manbudam. Translation: I wonder what was the place where I was last night. All around me were half-slaughtered victims of love, tossing about in agony. There was a nymph-like beloved with cypress-like form and tulip-like face, ruthlessly playing havoc with the hearts of the lovers. Sufism. Many of the major historical ghazal poets were either avowed Sufis themselves, like Rumi or Hafiz, or were sympathizers with Sufi ideas. Somewhat like American soul music, but with melancholy instead of funk, most ghazals can be viewed in a spiritual context, with the beloved being a metaphor for God or the poet's spiritual master. It is the intense divine love of Sufism that serves as a model for all the forms of love found in ghazal poetry. Some ghazal scholars today recognize that some ghazal couplets are exclusively about divine love, yani ishq-e-hakiki. Others are about earthly love, yani ishq-e-majazi, but many can be interpreted in either context. Traditionally invoking melancholy, love, longing and metaphysical questions, ghazals are often sung by Afghan, Pakistani and Indian musicians. The form has roots in 7th century Arabia and gained prominence in the 13th and 14th centuries thanks to such Persian poets as Rumi and Hafiz, and later to Indian poets such as Mirza Ghalib. In the 18th century, the ghazal was used by poets writing in Urdu. Amongst these poets, Ghalib is recognized as the master. Important ghazal poets. Ghazals were written by Rumi, Hafiz and Sadi Shirazi of Persia, the Turkic poets Yunus Emre, Fuzuli and Nasimi in the Ottoman Empire, Mirza Ghalib and Muhammad Iqbal of North India, and Qazi Nazrul Islam of Bengal. Through the influence of Goethe, 1749 to 1832, the ghazal became very popular in Germany during the 19th century. The form was used extensively by Friedrich Ruckert, 1788 to 1835, and August von Platen, 1796 to 1835. The Kashmiri poet Agha Shahid Ali was a proponent of the form both in English and in other languages. He edited a volume of real ghazals in English. Ghazals were also written by Motiram Bhatta, 1866 to 1896, the pioneer of Nepali ghazal writing in Nepali. Ghazals were also written by Hamza Shinwari. He is known as the father of Pashto ghazals. Translations and performance of classical ghazal. Enormous collections of ghazals have been created by hundreds of well-known poets over the past 1,000 years in Persian, Turkish and Urdu, as well as in the Central Asian Turkic languages. Ghazal poems are performed in Uzbek Tajik Shashmakam, Turkish Makam, Persian Dastgah and Uyghur Mukam. There are many published translations from Persian and Turkish by Anne-Marie Schimmel and Arthur John Arbery and many others. Ghazal Gaiki, the art of singing or performing the ghazal in the Indian classical tradition, is very old. Singers like Ustad Barkat Ali and many other singers in the past used to practice it, but the lack of historical records make many names anonymous. It was with Begum Akhtar and later on Ustad Mehdi Hasan that classical rendering of ghazals became popular in the masses. The categorization of ghazal singing as a form of light classical music is a misconception. Classical ghazals are difficult to render because of the varying moods of the shares or couplets in the ghazal. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, Amanat Ali Khan, Begum Akhtar, Talat Mahmood, Mehdi Hasan, Abida Parveen, Jagjit Singh, Farida Khanam and Ustad Ghulam Ali are popular classical ghazal singers. Popularity. The ghazal has historically been one of the most popular poetic forms across the Middle East and South Asia. Even into the modern era, the ghazal has retained its extreme popularity among South Asian royalty and nobility, among whom its education and patronization has traditionally found shelter, especially with several Indian rulers, including several Indian emperors being profound composers of ghazals. In the 19th century, ghazals gained popularity in Germany with Goethe's translations as well as with Spanish ghazal writers such as Federico Garcia Lorca. Despite often being written in strong Urdu and rendered with classical Indian ragas along with complex terminology, most usually accessible to the upper classes, in South Asia, ghazals are nonetheless popular among all ages. They are most popular in Turkey and South Asia, and readings or musical renditions of ghazals, such as at mehfils and mushairas, are well attended in these countries, even by the laity. Ghazals are popular in South Asian film music. The ragas to which ghazals are sung are usually chosen to be in consonance with their lyrical content. The ghazal's beauty goes beyond rich or poor, or where you come from, whether it's spoken in fancy places or sung in everyday life. Its powerful words touch deep inside, staying with us for a long time. Understanding the complex lyrics of traditional ghazals required education typically available only to the upper classes. The traditional classical ragas in which the lyrics were rendered were also difficult to understand. The ghazal has undergone some simplification in recent years in terms of words and phrasings, which helps it to reach a larger audience audience around the world. Modern shairs or poets are also moving towards a less strict adherence to form and rules, using simpler language and words, sometimes even incorporating words from other languages, such as English, see Parveen Shakir, and moving away from a strictly male narrator. Most of the ghazals are now sung in styles that are not limited to khayal, thumri, raga, tala, and other classical and light classical genres. However, those forms of the ghazal are looked down on by purists of the Indian classical tradition. In Pakistan, Salim Raza, Mehdi Hasan, Noor Jahan, Iqbal Bano, Abida Parveen, Farida Khanum, Ghulam Ali Ahmad Rushdi, Ustad Amanat Ali Khan, and Parvez Mehdi are known for ghazal renditions. Indian singers like Jagjit Singh, who first used a guitar in ghazals, Ahmad and Muhammad Hussain, Hariharan, Aditya Srinivasan, Pankaj Udhas, and many others have been able to give a new shape to the ghazal by incorporating elements of Western music. Ghazals in other South Asian languages. In addition to Urdu, ghazals have been very popular in the Gujarati language. For around a century, starting with Balashankar Kantharia, there have been many notable Gujarati ghazal writers, including Kalapi, Barkat Virani Befam, Asim Randeri, Shundya Palanpuri, Amrut Ghayal, Khalil Dhan Tejvi, and many more. Some notable ghazals of those prominent writers have been sung by Bollywood playback singer Manhar Udhas. Renowned ghazal singer and pioneer of Telugu ghazals, Ghazal Srinivas popularized the ghazal in Telugu. Ghazal and the Kannada language were pioneered in the 1960s by poet Shanta Rasam, though recordings of their poetry only began to be made in the early 2000s. Legendary musician Umbai composed ghazals in Malayalam and popularized this form of music across Kerala. Suresh Bhak popularized ghazals in the Marathi language. Some of his amazing ghazals were sung by famous artists like Lata Mangeshkar and Asha Bhosle. He was known as Ghazal Samrat, the emperor of ghazals, for his exposition of the ghazal form of poetry and its adaptation to the Marathi language. His disciple Elahi Jamadar continued the tradition, blending Urdu and Marathi verses in his work. Qazi Nazrul Islam brought ghazals in the Bengali language, composing numerous poems which are still famous in both Bangladesh and India. Teg Ali Teg introduced ghazals in Bhojpuri. His ghazals collection Badmash Darpan was published in 1895. Motiram Bhatta was the pioneer and the one who introduced the ghazal in the world of Nepali literature, due to which he is called Ghazal Samrat of Nepali literature. They have become an important part of it. In English, after nearly a century of false starts, the early experiments of James Clarence Mangan, James Elroy Flecker, Adrian Rich, Phyllis Webb, etc., many of whom did not adhere wholly or in part to the traditional principles of the form, experiments dubbed as the bastard ghazals, the ghazal finally began to be recognized as a viable closed form in poetry of the English language sometime in the early to mid 1990s. It came about largely as a result of serious, true-to-form examples being published by noted American poets John Hollander, W.S. Merwin, and Elise Passion, as well as by Kashmiri American poet Agha Shahid Ali, who had been teaching and spreading word of the ghazal at American universities over the previous 2 decades. Jim Harrison created his own free-form ghazal true to his poetic vision in Outlier and Ghazals 1971. In 1996, Ali compiled and edited the world's first anthology of English-language ghazals, published by Wesleyan University Press in 2000 as Ravishing Disunities, Real Ghazals in English. Fewer than 1 in 10 of the ghazals collected in Real Ghazals in English observe the constraints of the form. A ghazal in English observes the traditional restrictions of the form. Where are you now? Who lies beneath your spell tonight? Whom else from rapture's road will you expel tonight? Those fabrics of Kashmir to make me beautiful tonight. Trinket to gem, me to adorn. How? Tell, tonight. I beg for haven, prisons, let open your gates. A refugee from belief seeks a cell tonight. God's vintage loneliness has turned to vinegar. All the archangels, their wings frozen, fell tonight. Lord, cried out the idols, don't let us be broken. Only we can convert the infidel tonight. Mughal ceilings, let your mirrored convexities multiply me at once under your spell tonight. He's freed some fire from ice in pity for heaven. He's left open for God the doors of hell tonight. In the heart's veined temple, all statues have been smashed. No priest in saffron's left to toll its knell tonight. God, limit these punishments. They're still judgment day. I'm a mere sinner. I'm no infidel tonight. Executioners near the woman at the window. Damn you, Elijah. I'll bless Jezebel tonight. The hunt is over and I hear the call to prayer fade into that of the wounded gazelle tonight. My rivals for your love, you've invited them all. This is mere insult. This is no farewell tonight. And I, Shahid, only am escaped to tell thee, God sobs in my arms. Call me Ishmael tonight. A.H. Shahid Ali.